Hi, I'm Liz, and today I'll be reading about Saint Simeon Stylite from Stories of the Saints by Carrie Wallace with illustrations by Nick Thornborough. When Simeon was a shepherd boy in Turkey, he heard a priest read the blessings Jesus had promised to anyone who followed him. The blessings said that everyone who is sad will be comforted, everyone who is merciful will be given mercy, and everyone who is hungry for what is right will have a feast. They said gentle people will inherit the earth, and people who work for peace will be called the children of God. How do I get these blessings? Simeon asked. From then on, his deepest desire was to follow God. By the time he was 16, he had memorized all the Psalms and joined a monastery. But Simeon wasn't like the other monks. He thought giving up food and drink and sleep would bring him closer to God. So he barely ate or drank or slept at all. The other monks tried to get him to act more like them. And when he didn't, they asked him to leave. Simeon went out and shut himself up in a small hut. That year, for the whole 40 days of Lent, he didn't eat or drink anything. And he started standing up for as long as he could, hours and hours until he was ready to fall down. When Simeon left the hut over a year later, he found a narrow ledge on a mountain and lived there. And here's Simeon on the ledge. But word spread that there was a strange man perched on a mountain ledge. Curious people came out to see him and kept interrupting Simeon's solitude. So Simeon found a pillar that was about 10 feet tall in some ruins in the desert. He built a small platform on it. Then he climbed up and didn't come down. Day or night, rain or shine, Simeon lived up on his pillar with no shelter from the heat or the cold. Boys from the town climbed up the pillar to bring him bread and goat's milk, and crowds began to gather at the foot of it. Some of the people who came to visit Simeon were elders of the church. They weren't sure what to think about Simeon. Had he climbed up on his pillar out of humility or because he wanted attention? We'll ask him to come down, they said to themselves. If he does, we'll know that he's humble. But if he refuses, we'll know it's from pride. As soon as the elders ordered Simeon to come down, he got up, ready to obey. Stay where you are, they told him. We can see now that your heart is humble. So many people came to the desert to see Simeon that he had to build another pillar to get away from them. This one was 50 feet high, with just a tiny platform for Simeon to live on and a railing around it so that he wouldn't fall off. Sometimes Simeon stood on his pillar with his arms outstretched in the shape of a cross. Other times he bent down and touched his forehead to his feet. Now and then the people who visited him could see an angel arrive to talk with Simeon. Every day, Simeon spoke to the people who had gathered to see him. He didn't tell everyone how to live the way he did. Instead, his preaching was full of kindness and wisdom. A ladder was built into the pillar so that people could come up and speak to him about their questions and problems. And here are all the people waiting to talk to Simeon. He even wrote letters to emperors when they sent messages asking for his help. At the end of his life, Simeon developed a sore on his right leg. So for the last year of his life, he stood for hours every day on one good leg. But one morning, his disciples noticed he hadn't moved in quite some time. When one of them climbed up the platform, they discovered that Simeon had died. His body was still bowed in prayer, just as it had so often been in life. The end.